Alright, good morning, trader. Sorry, I was a little bit late getting up this morning. I apologize about that, but, oh man, sorry. Just overslept it, all sorts of stuff. But in any event, let's get going here. So, we're running on a little bit different charts this morning, and I did that for a reason. Not that I'm not going to continue to use my traditional volume profiles, but I really like the way that this is broken down. So this is something called a time variable profile. So at its essence, it's a market profile. So market profiles preceded volume profiles. They are time based, not volume based. So before, you couldn't get good volume data back in the day. Traders would actually get graphing paper and they would block out these. This was created by David Steidelmeyer and HD statistician, and he created this. More time that it spends trading in a particular area, the more of the profile is going to build out. I have this indicator through ProSuite Gold, which is the indicator suite, of course, by platforms NinjaTrader. That basically what it will do, it will is a certain, runs a certain duration, but then once it breaks out, it'll create a new profile. So what you get is these really, and then you get these really nice breakouts, and it's just very flowy, very easy to read, and I really like it. So in any event, we'll take a look at our levels and whatnot. So we are inside yesterday's range. Getting a little bit mixed signals here. So the point of control is weighted towards the low of the range, which generally means been more aggressive had the buyers been more to moved upward. So we know the seller. It begs the question: is this more just of a? I believe it probably is in a bit of a V bottom right here, and I will gauge that typically. You're making like a 100% retracement. That's what I. So you got strength in both directions, right? So clearly buyers are starting to come back in at the main chart. Bear with me. So we can see this. I have a video that explains kind of how this is one of my cumulative deltas that I have that shows buying pressure, and this is just the regular delta. That basically means that one side has a lot of buying pressure, basically are really absorbing down here is what it's telling us basically. So there's a lot of limit at this level basically on the long side. So sorry about that, bear with me. Alright, well, so yeah, that might infer we'll get a bounce. Other things like the Dow is a little bit bearish. I do look at the other indexes, but the NASDAQ is largely bullish, so I'm hoping that's just going to tow the rest of us up. Since we're opening up in yesterday's value area, I'm really just expecting it to chop. But I'm trying. Okay, well, yeah, in any event. Still early, man. I'm still waking up. Anyways, so my bias for today is largely looking for a rotational day. So since we're opening up in the value area, yesterday's value area, and it's usually gonna be choppy. So we've got the vying for control. We've got these new buyers and probably some of yesterday's buyers that are and we're right at the POC. So this is one of those days where you really just want to stand aside. It is just trading for the sake of trading. It's probably not going anywhere. So, oh my god, I just realized I'm on the wrong monitor. Sorry. I apologize to those of you on YouTube. 2 screens. And let's take a look at some stocks so you guys can find some good setups for the day here. If anybody has stocks they want me to check, as always, please throw it in the chat so we can check it out together. Alright, so this is one of the setups that I called for in the weekend wrap. I didn't get as much of Corbus Pharmaceuticals, or CRBP. Didn't get as much movement out of it as I would have liked to. For us to get long. retest this, fill this gap right in here, and potentially move higher. Volume is is just not there though, as you can see. All right, BLNK, you got it. I'm gonna write that down right now. BLNK. Okay. So yeah, as you can see, volume is just really not there. So it it begs the questions. You certainly don't want higher prices, but lower activity. That's not good, because that basically means that the market's not transacting well to the upside, and therefore it's got to auction somewhere where it does transact well, which is likely lower. So this, I'm a little bit mixed. I think structurally, this I'm still long biased on this, but as for now, we're just kind of waiting. All right, let's check out BLNK. Blink Charging Co. All right, very, very, very nice inverse head and shoulders right here. So you can see we got a shoulder, we got a head, and we got a shoulder. And then we have our neckline. And we're opening right below the neckline. So I am looking for this thing to break through that and just really start trucking. It has a long ways to go before it runs into major resistance. So this would be just it's a perfect setup, guys. It really doesn't get any better than this, to be honest. So the hold time on this, I'm guessing, would probably be about maybe 2 weeks. You could probably hold 2 weeks before it hits this level. So it'd be a longer term swing trade. But yeah, I think this is a phenomenal setup. So you could, I mean, it depends how you want to order. You could get it now, of course, or you could put a stop market order right there. So as soon as it hits 42.50, it's gonna fill you and just take off. So I do that a lot when I'm trading breakouts. All right. Anybody else stocks they want me to check? Please throw it in the chat, and we'll check it out. Otherwise, I'm just gonna start going through setups here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, because that's certainly been one of the more important ones lately, and it looks like it is pretty weak. All right, so we have a bit of a weak high and we have a bit of a weak low. Neo, you got it. Let me write that down. Neo. Okay. So we have a bit like we have a weak high right here. So anytime you have a key level where price basically trades up to the same price twice, like the exact same level, and fails, that creates something called a weak high. So basically it's going to look like this. So it's like an absolute perfect double top, right? Where you could draw a line across it. Well, imagine it like that. So this is called a weak high, and it's otherwise known as an unfinished auction. Okay, so a healthy auction is gonna, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go up, it's gonna create an excess, which is like the peak, and then it's gonna start trading in the other direction, right? But this is not, it's an unfinished auction. So imagine you're at an art auction and somebody's selling a painting or something, and you've got two guys that are sorry, I'm reading the chat. How do I learn to draw lines on my broken portfolio? Go to TradingView. That's what I'm using right now, and it's free. So check it out. Very, very good tool. Anyways, unfinished auctions. So say you're at an art auction, somebody's selling a painting, and you have two guys that are bidding 10,000, and then somebody pulls the fire alarm. Well, the auction wouldn't have completed, and we would know that people were still willing to bid higher prices because we had two guys left, and the price is only at 10,000. So this, a weak high, or a perfect double top like that, is the same kind of thing. You've got two guys, so to speak, that are still willing to bid higher prices, but we're not getting there. So that's an unfinished auction, and I expect those levels to be broken at some point. The problem is we've got weak highs, we've got a weak high, and we have a weak low. So to be honest, it could go either way. Yeah, we'll have to. Sorry, I'm just labeling because I like to do that. We'll just have to see what happens. Overall, I'd say I'm largely bearish, but I think right now this thing is just flat neutral, and that's it. So neutral bearish, I would say. We could get a break below 53K potentially, and if that happens, yeah, I would definitely be short. But yeah, right now I'm just neutral. It's probably a bull flag on a very high time frame. All right, let's check out Neo here, and let me get rid of some of these lines because things have been all over the place. All right, so let's see, that trend line is broken. I'm just gonna get rid of this thing and get rid of that too. Okay, well, here's what we got. So we have a bit of a God. This thing is a little bit weird. Let's switch to a 15-minute. Sorry, let me fix this real fast. Okay, the reason I switched to a higher time frame is because the price action is getting. We really need to see what's going on at like kind of the microscopic level. You see the shape right here? So we've got a really nice V bottom, and it's a 100% retracement. So like I said, we've got strength in both directions here. So therefore, I mean, it could really go either way. This was largely a good spike on when the Nasdaq was so bullish yesterday. You can see we are pulling down here. This is where we're trading at in pre-market. IZEA, you got it. IZEA. So we'll need to see what happens. The people that bought here on the Nasdaq yesterday, well, they may rebuy. We'll just need to see what happens around here, 41.89. They may buy it up, in which case it would turn it into an inverse head and shoulders, and then I'd be looking for a breakout. So I don't think it's a good long entry yet, but potentially if we get the bounce down here around 42 bucks. So that's really the level to watch. And you want to see a higher low here. You can't get, like, I wouldn't want to see this come down and trade all the way to that pivot low. Definitely not, because that would spell bearish to me for sure. You want to see a higher low and where it would make an inverse head and shoulders and then break. So that's what I think on Neo. Potentially a good long entry, just don't be too early. All right, let's check out IZEA. We got 9 minutes till the open, guys. Okay, so we got a pretty nice rising wedge here. And let's bust out some trend lines. We got this one, more or less. I mean, this thing's price action on this is pretty sloppy, likely because the volume is just kind of low. Yeah, and it looks like we have a weak high on this guy too. Pretty much, I would say so. You got it, bud. SPY is next. So, and anyways, it's kind of looking like an ascending triangle. Like I said, the price action on this thing is just really kind of sloppy. Let me zoom out to a 1 hour. Okay. So yeah, based on what I'm seeing on the 1 hour, I think this thing is probably solid. So I would be looking for continuation to the upside, and I'd be looking for us to break through this weak high right here, the little magenta line that I got. And I mean, potentially this thing could trade all the way up to 542 or higher. So I want to see this trend line hold. That's the most important thing. I want to see that weak high retested, a break, and then my target, at least my first target, would be 542, 550-ish, something like that. So that's for IZEA. Not a bad setup either. Just make sure it watches that trend line. All right, let's check out the SPY. Okay, So the way the SPY goes is largely going to be affected by the S&P futures. So if we take a peek back, we can see this V bottom here is seeming to continue. So I am expecting us to probably continue to chop here. I think this is just, we're really probably just going to chop around within yesterday's profile. Like I said, it's mostly just a rotational day. Usually rotational days you want to trade outside in. So you would like maybe get long in the morning, short in the afternoon, or however it plays out. Um, so if the ES futures are largely bullish, I think the SPY will probably follow suit for the most part. That being said, though, I am seeing a little bit of weakness here. You can see we did make a lower high right there, and we are dropping in pre-market. So potentially, I'd just be looking for this. I mean, this just looks like a pullback to me. I'd be looking for a continuation to the downside, a retest of 387.50 with a potential break. But again, it's really going to depend on what futures do. That being said, though, futures, like I said, I think it's largely rotational, if slightly bullish. So we'll just need to see what happens when the market opens here. All right, guys, we got 6 minutes left. I've got time for one more. So if anybody has anything else they want me to check, throw it in the chat. Now's your chance. Make some money. Let's do it. Don't be shy. I know you guys got trades and you're sitting on them, not wanting to share with your homies. DKNG. All right, we'll check one of these. DKNG. DraftKings. All right, another rising wedge. So this is also a very nice setup. We have a beautiful trend line right here, and an equally beautiful trend line right here. So I would definitely be looking for a break above these levels. Go away. Let me zoom out just a smidge. Yeah, this thing looks good. Is this? I'm trying to check it to see if there are any key levels above us, and there are not. Okay, so we're near the all-time high for this particular security. So yeah, I'd be looking for a break above $74 out of this rising wedge and continuation to the upside on pretty good volume. So I think this is a nice setup. Just be careful that this thing doesn't fail on you and go out the other side. So the nice thing about this trade is you can keep a very tight stop, which I love. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we got 4 minutes till the open here. I'm gonna have to wrap it up early. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get to all the stocks. Yeah, don't be shy, guys. If you have questions or anything, I mean that's what I'm here for. It keeps it fun. It keeps it engaging. So please, bring forward your questions and ideas ultimately. So. All right, guys. Well, I am gonna have to get out of here. Again, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'll try to be on time tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific time for the open. Take care.